Why is it that school is mandatory in some countries and why school is so pushed onto our young ones?
Well, I asked this question to the people that want to homeschool. And, in England, Britain, United Kingdom, people do homeschool. They quite literally told me it's because in schools, they actually teach our children to become victims. They allow bullying to go on. And if you fight back at the bully, the victim gets punished. That's one. Second of all, they told me when people go to these, they think they are public schools. They are not. They're all private schools now. That the level of education is so substandard that it's actually been engineered to make children accept dumb, stupid things, like teaching mathematics in such a pathetic way that they don't grasp the idea that, say, a 4-year-old child in Africa can. They actually purposely engineer them to become innumerate as possible. The other element is that they don't teach them how grammar works. They don't teach them syntax, how to formulate sentences so they can pen their own letters. So they don't make them innumerate. They don't make them numerate. They don't make them literate. And they purposely sabotage their education to forcibly say to them that you have to now choose even your gender at the age of 4. And once you choose it, we can give you an operation, physical operation to alter their sex even. These are only some of the objections that the people that homeschool discussed with me. Each one, especially those ones that are forcing babies to choose a gender and to terrorize them if they don't. That's why they homeschool. That's why the schools are so toxic to the children. The mothers and fathers have to take them out. Why? Because the state wants to dumb down your children so they can sell them mortgages, they can sell them credit cards, they can sell them to surgically alter their physical parts of their body, to encourage all manner of perversions that would get somebody hung, to promote pornography and child sex, especially amongst adults having child sex with children, and saying that that's just a sexual preference. That when a grown man wants to penetrate a 6-year-old girl, they want to call that sexual preference. These are the hideous things that is going on. They are on maximum force. They're using maximum force the schools to pervert, corrupt, and toxify, even weaponize your children against you, against their own parents. The state is doing this on the back of instructions that they have received from what is termed as private people. I'm asking myself, whatever happened to the good private men and women? Are they so cowardly they won't step up and take on these private schools, masquerading as public schools? Write to any Secretary of State for education or anything else. They say we only have power over public schools, and we do not have any power over curriculums over any other schools, which they are saying to you openly. All the schools that you are making complaints about are non-public and they are private. That's why all the schools in England are behind 40 feet, sometimes 40 feet fences, and nobody can leave and nobody can come out. If you take your children out, they call the police to say that you have kidnapped your own children. Social services come into these schools and take children out at their will and fly them over to different countries, saying that we have the right to do so. The parents, the mother or the father, is terrified, horrified that their child has been flown to a different country on the back of somebody's say-so. We have, just on the back of that one question that I was asked, we have a nightmare scenario running through our world. What I would like to see and what I would like to work towards is to hang these people until they are dead.
All of a sudden, the word kindergarten makes a lot more sense. It's German for child garden. So you're literally cultivating children.
So kindergarten means cultivating children. What does children mean?
Children means purchasing.
Children quite literally means it's another word to be able to purchase. Somebody gave you this word called children. You never used to call yourself your babies or your sons and daughters children. Somebody put that word in so they can take control of your children, voluntarily saying that they are open to purchase, albeit that's what the back of your mind, which controls nearly all of you, knows what it means. That hence Henry can't fight back. It's crippled. With the language, they crippled our ability to control our own sons and daughters. That's what they do. They trade children. They trade their organs. That's not the only thing children means. What else does a child mean?
It comes from the word childermas. As you know, childermas is revenued now into Christmas, Christmas. It was the order from King Harold for the contract of children under the age of 2 to stop the Christ line from coming through. He wanted to stop the light that can outshine his darkness and his harvesting, basically.
So if we was to put it, much more directly, it's a word that was generated by King Harold court in the Bible, that Joseph and Mary fled from because the king was looking for the Christ baby to kill. So he doesn't miss the Christ baby. He killed all children, all babies, and from under the age of 2, in the hope that he may kill this one baby that is the light of man. And that's the word that he used to revenue sons and daughters, as it were, into children in order for him to take custody of something.
Yes, they just took the mass of the children.
They took the mass of the children and they did a mass sacrifice. Hence, Catholic people to this day go to Sunday Mass.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's so ritualized, people don't know what it means. When you go into a church, it's an upside down Noah's Ark to signify that Noah's Ark capsized. And all the people in there are dead souls. One simple question has led us to this conclusion. If mothers and fathers don't step up, allow this to happen, they will mutilate your children, your babies, your sons and daughters, to the point where they weaponize them against you. You have to seek the death penalty. You cannot be arguing with a rapist. You cannot be arguing with 50-year-old men that believe penetrating a 6-year-old girl is just a sexual preference. You must seek, as we seek, the death penalty, hung until they are dead. And all the agencies that participate in that level of grotesqueness. So my answer is, my conclusion is, that is why they want to capture your children and make it compulsory to go through this type of sacrifice, this type of horror. Come, ye little children, to suffer on to me. I think we can end it there, unless somebody else has anything to say, but it can't be watered down. Should we end it there?
I didn't know if you mentioned the ward of state. Children also means ward of state, that you've signed the birth certificate and you've given them to the state as their ward.
So you explain it to us.
Children also means ward of state. And when you sign your birth certificate for your baby, you also name them children on that birth certificate, admitting they are a ward of state as well as purchasable to anyone that comes along that wants to purchase them, because you've named that child as a child and you've also put your name to it and signed for it. So now you've also authorized the sale of your children, as in young ones.
In addition to that, at the bottom of the form, it says who the informant is. If you look up the name informant, it means he who informs upon himself as committing a crime, or you being an informant for the police or anybody else to say, I know a man that has committed a crime.
I would like to add also that the word school is another French origin word. It comes from the same word as scheme. So if you are to send your sons and daughters to school, you involve them in a scheme which is defined as adorning speech with rhetorical figures. So they will be faced every single day with rhetorical speech that has no sincerity or meaningful content. They will not learn anything.
Wow, I did not know that. And every time we explore a word, we get to see how evil is working on our planet, my planet, your planet, our Earth. Look, I do not have any more words, but I want to show zero tolerance. I want these people hung, since we have caught them out in their lies and deception. I wish to make the wish. I want to wish. I need the power, the knowledge, the wisdom to go after these people, to confess their crimes and then face the penalties for their crimes. We've done our best to educate the innocent, the parents, the children. And, you know, even with the words that you said about what the word school means, it means to scheme and give them rhetorical speech as to confuse them. You know, how worse can it get? I want to go to bed today and I want to make a prayer. I want the ability to purge them of my planet, of my Earth. Yeah, I don't think this is actually a very large thing that I'm asking. I don't think it's a big thing at all. I'm faced with the everyday horrors of what is happening to little innocent babies, my next door neighbors, you know, my friends and etc. When I'm in the presence of Nazis, I don't think it's a very tall order to say I want a baseball bat to smash them over the head. They have, through their own conduct, condemned themselves. I want to make sure they remain condemned. I think every man, woman should arm themselves with knowledge and whatever needs that they need at their disposal to confront these freaks for the very reason of removing them from our planet. That's what I would like to wake up tomorrow morning, knowing how to do it and having those tools at my disposal. That is what I wish my genie to deliver to me. This is what I wish that the people would consent to. I wish that this message would go to billions of people. So just like turning on a light bulb, it all now makes sense to them. That it's not just the children that you have to rescue, your babies and your daughters, but you have to make sure the evil never comes back to steal your children. The Judicial Notice book goes a very long way for people to do that. And we have armed people to the teeth, as it were, with the Judicial Notice book. Thank you very much.